Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Daisy Rodales, founder of DRPR. Daisy is a public relations specialist who works with CEOs and entrepreneurs to help them build visible, trusted brands through strategic PR, content, and storytelling. She launched DRPR during the shift to digital in 2020, with a mission to bridge the gap between traditional public relations and modern content-driven marketing, helping brands not just get seen, but actually build credible and influence. Daisy, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much, Olivia. It is a pleasure to be here with you today.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. So, Daisy, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up DRPR, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Yes, of course. I would be happy to share. So, I actually never thought that I would be an entrepreneur like I am today. I did, however, start my journey in communications and public relations. So, I did naturally actually fall right into, I would say, the perfect industry. I've always loved communicating, I've always loved storytelling, meeting new people, and public relations was the perfect fit. So, I do have a degree in communications and digital media, and I furthered my knowledge and experience in the industry with a diploma in PR. That's where I fell in love with the whole communications industry and marketing. I first started off post graduating in an agency setting. So I did work in about 2 to 3 different agencies in Toronto at PR firms, a mixture of startup and established agencies. We worked with multiple brands in different industries: beauty, cookware, fashion. That really got me with my toes dipped in the industry full force, doing media pitching, doing press release writing, influencer relations, events, all the fun stuff. But I would say during COVID, I actually got laid off. Our company at the time was going through big changes. They lost some of their clients. And so I was left to freelance. So during that time, I was freelancing. I actually had a couple friends and family who already had businesses and needed support with marketing and PR. So I supported them in that sense. And it naturally progressed from there. I honestly was just promoting myself online, and that's how I got started into thinking about entrepreneurship. I really, what pushed me, I would say, is when I got a contract role at a time with a bit local business organization here that supports businesses. And I was working with them promoting their marketing grant that was offered through the government of Ontario, and just meeting all these entrepreneurs as well and helping them earn this grant opened my eyes to, if they can do it, I can do it. And it was actually my manager at the time who had told me, you should totally get started. We have all the resources to support you. We offer business coaching. Everything is free through the government. It's a nonprofit, government funded. And it was just right in front of me. So that is actually how I started. It was really just with encouragement and with, I would say, a support system of people really just encouraging me to take that step.
Beautiful stuff. And I feel like no matter how you get to entrepreneurship, I feel like your journey is suitable to you, but that's such a nice way to do it. As you say, it just naturally occurred as you went through life. And I think throughout COVID, a lot of people would have found themselves in a very similar situation to you. It did affect a lot of the world in that terms of losing their jobs or having to find new avenues and new incomes and new streams of income coming in. So yeah, just finding that progression, finding where you fall your feet and move it from there. And obviously within the context you're in as well, with regards to PR and marketing, it's a forever changing shift at the moment, especially since COVID. So staying on top of that and helping other businesses do the same must bring with a lot of fulfillment and joy at the same time throughout the struggles of entrepreneurship.
Definitely. I think, of course, the most rewarding thing with being an entrepreneur is really just seeing the smiles on the clients that we work with, and
Yeah.
really just seeing the effect that you just honestly working with your knowledge and experience and skills and bringing that into an organization and seeing how much you can also grow with them together is such a beautiful feeling. It is the most rewarding thing. And now I can't look back. I wouldn't even remember what it's like without where I am now, and being an entrepreneur is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. And that's such a cool thing to say as well and hear from you. So let's dive into DRPR a little bit more then, just so the listeners can have some context moving forward. So, Daisy, at this point in, who would you say is your ideal client? Who is it you very much love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them? And how do you support them along their own journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, over the years, we've worked with a multitude of different industries and businesses, but I would say our favorite businesses are experiential brands. So, these are typically established businesses, or sometimes they are franchises who already have sometimes an internal comms team. They have a little bit of support in terms of the social media, but they need that external support with media relations. So, they're already established, they have a strong brand. They have a website, they have all of kind of their marketing tactics started and developed, but they now are looking to build credibility. So this is where we step in and we can actually help pitch these businesses to journalists, to broadcast media, to publications to further their credibility and to really get them recognized in the industry as an expert or dominating in their field. With this as well comes a lot of events. So we actually do a lot of PR for events for these typical businesses. We find that often, usually in the year, they have maybe one or two really large public front facing, customer facing events. So we can support with all of the media relations and working with their team as well in terms of pitching the media, writing press releases, distributing them out, bringing influencers to events, really just taking care of the PR and the media side of events. So I would say experiential brands, think of Sky Zone, think of bowling alleys, businesses that really offer a really cool experience and they really need to further that message out there.
Yeah, so really painting a spotlight on what they do. And I take it the events are showcasing within their kind of brick and mortar within their business itself. And then obviously you're bringing in the people to really highlight what they can do and what that experience looks like, which is a really cool aspect. One thing I love a lot about PR is obviously the connection-based industry you have it in. It provides that double-edged sword to the marketing that you need, the in-person, and then also the events you're doing. Just a great way to build content online as well. So it's a nice kind of balance between the two. And I take it you're very much in the trenches with your clients as well, like holding their hand the whole way through that, or like what is your approach? Like what is your style to it?
100%. That is actually probably the perfect way to say it and explain
Yeah.
it. We are really deep in the trenches with them. I to think of ourselves as an extension of the communications team for many of these companies. They may already have a manager, or they may already have one or two people that are within that department, or multiple people, but we kind of work alongside them, really just furthering their messaging just with an external audience. So we
Yeah.
find that they often focus internally, and then we focus on scaling that impact to the media and really bringing even our own media connections front facing towards these announcements or events.
Beautiful stuff. So they, even as you say, already be doing their own efforts when it comes to marketing and PR, but you're just putting on that outside effort as well, like making it an outsourced as well as an in-house. So they're getting that nice double-edged effect as well. A really cool
Exactly.
aspect. One thing I'm very curious to find out, Daisy, because naturally it's a very busy world at the moment. So like how do you go about acquiring your own customers? So like in terms
Mhm.
of channels or methods, like what are really working well for you and just finding those right people to work with?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do a multiple, I would say, different tactics. We are actually very much referral based, so we rely heavily on referrals. I'm a part of BNI, which is a great organization to meet other entrepreneurs, grow referrals. We also do some outbound outreach and sales.
Oh,
Yeah, reaching out through LinkedIn, using Sales Navigator. Sometimes we put sequences together for different campaigns, things that we want to sell, and we will do also email outreach through different funnels. So we've used so many different kind of tools over the years, but I definitely find LinkedIn outreach is probably the number one best for acquiring new customers and just furthering that relationship building aspect, like what you mentioned with other entrepreneurs, with other businesses as well, because you never know where those relationships can take you down the future.
Yeah, I love that. LinkedIn is a great platform to do that, especially if you're doing like cold outreach. You can very much pinpoint, as you say, use sales nav, very much pinpoint who you want to talk to, who you want to find, and reach out from there. And referrals, obviously, just so kudos to the work you are doing. It's very hard to build a good referral system, so that's nice you have that coming in. They're just not always as consistent as what people would like. I feel every founder wish they could live off of referrals. But do you run any form of paid advertisements or anything across other channels, maybe just to help with that consistency and lead flow?
Yeah, you know what? Surprisingly, so we've been in 5 years in business now, and I would say we've actually never done we've never done paid ads or anything in terms of paid marketing to promote our own business because honestly, we've just been really fortunate to be able to grow through referrals mainly, and then just some of our outreach efforts. But we do offer that, of course, for our clients, social media ads, paid ads, things like that. But for ourselves, honestly, we've been pretty fortunate, I would say, with just the community we've been able to grow into.
So yeah, nice on that organic front. And I should say, it's always there as an option. Maybe never what happens, you can add that on if you are offering it to a service, which is very easy to apply to yourself as well. And then do you have a team that are helping you out on the back end, Daisy, or
Yeah,
like help in covering some of those hats that you're wearing?
yes, we do. We have a small team. So we have two other contractors on the team. They
Okay, cool.
are female and they are also Latina. And I'm Spanish
Hey,
myself. So it's so funny how we've just naturally become like a female-owned run company and we're all Spanish.
that's really cool. So you
Yeah.
might, that is really cool because you must have, like naturally with that as well, you must be aligned with the same mission. You have very similar like outside hobbies as well as inside hobbies. It's just nice when you have friendships because it can be a very lonely place as a founder. So like even people you are working with, it's nice that you can build relationship and they're actually on board with your mission as well. It's a really cool aspect. And it's not easy to find. And if you're looking for an extra, obviously wannabe Latina, I am here for you. We were touching
Yay! My
beforehand, so
Latina friend from the other side.
yeah, from the other one. But I love that a lot. And then naturally, Daisy, what are your like ambitions or your like visions for the company moving forward? You know, when you think of the next 6 to 12 months, like what are the goals or the targets that you are hopefully looking forward to achieving?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I'm definitely hoping to grow and expand our company into even doubling the amount of size of that are on our team as well, and working with more of those franchise, larger scale clients who really need that public relations aspect in their business. I find that often it is a gap within many businesses, even established businesses, believe it or not. They may have certain areas covered in terms of marketing, but I find public relations is that one aspect of marketing that I would like to say that sometimes gets overlooked or at least doesn't get as much focus as it should. So we do really hope to scale in terms of working with more franchises, larger scale clients, doubling our team, and really working together as I would say an extension of other established brands.
Love that. So really keep pushing what you're doing. And yeah, just to touch on what you say about PR, I do think it's very much overlooked, especially within the niche or the industry you're in. When it comes to public relations, a lot of people think of like keynote speakers or thought leaders. It's that very kind of corporate side of things. But within the experience brand sector, or even my mind goes straight to hospitality, it's a very underlooked like version of marketing. As you say, they often have their in-house going. So just adding that on top, like you're never going to go wrong just with more eyes on the mission and on the business. Where are you probably finding though like the biggest challenge for yourself in taking those next steps or even within the current business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would definitely say outreach is definitely a challenge at times, especially because I would say there's just so many tools out there. There's so many AI tools, there's so many automation kind of platforms that exist, softwares. We've tested so many different ones. So it's really just sticking to one that works. I will say LinkedIn outreach has probably helped the most with external outreach, but really just being able to establish more relationships even outside of this area because I will say we have pretty much built a strong reputation here within the Durham region. We are a small town, kind of 30 minutes away from Toronto, 45 minutes, but really just now growing our presence beyond where we are now. So, more in the Toronto GTA area and even expanding our impact into the States as well. Working with businesses overseas is something that we are hoping to aspire and hoping to continue to grow over the years.
Love it. So keep stretching and growing that ecosystem. And I take it part of what you do you have to be in person or can you help people, as you say, from overseas and where you are and work that kind of remote aspect as well and aim for everybody all over the world?
Yeah, so we are actually entirely online. Our whole business everyone on the team, we all work online, which is amazing. We can pretty much work with any business across the world. And I will say, because over the years, public relations has really grown to more of a digital framework. When we were in school years ago, it was more traditional PR and a lot of manual kind of tactics that you would do, manual pitching, sending out mailers, which is still, there's a combination of that. But I will say a lot of things have moved more to digital PR. So we use newswires as well to help us really share announcements from companies on a global scale and really to get news out there quickly and fast. That's just one of the aspects of the tools we use, but also PR databases to gather our media lists and even to grow influencer lists, really just to build our relationships with journalists and to help further enhance the impact that we can make with businesses, not just in person, but also across seas.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. As you say, it's using the best of the modern world and then obviously taking those old school techniques and putting them in place as well. I feel, again, people often mistake PR or misunderstand what it's about. So bringing them clarity and bringing it into the modern world is a really great way to do that and implementing them into those small businesses. And I have one final question to ask you, Daisy, before we log out. So if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you say to yourself?
I would say don't do it alone and don't think that you can do it alone. Many times when we start, we are stubborn, I will say. We also have imposter syndrome, a lot of us, when we start our business. And a lot of those challenges can really affect you even later on in the years of your business. I would say the biggest thing that has helped me grow and scale our impact is having a business coach. Even throughout the years, I have worked with many different coaches, and I will say that has been the biggest kind of asset to our company is really having someone keep you accountable. Not only that, but really teaching you the tools, the things that they have experienced themselves that they want to teach you so that you don't have to go through those same challenges and bottleneck kind of
Yeah.
challenges. That has been the biggest kind of impact for our business alone. I would say even just last year looking back, I started working with a coach who is specifically focused to just helping PR and marketing agencies. And we honestly doubled our revenue in 4 months just after working with him. And I was like, this is insane. Just being able to be held accountable and have someone tell you as it is, don't do this, try this, or let's not do this, let's kind of change our strategy. That is the biggest kind of piece of advice I would give to anyone is don't do it alone. Get the support you need, get a coach, and really seek mentors as much as you can.
Yeah, as you say, seek people in the places you want to be. It's, as you say, you can spend for ages running around that hamster wheel making the same mistakes. Just get from help if someone's been in that position. And exactly what you said, especially if they're in your field and in your industry, there's going to be no better advice than somebody who knows exactly what it's like to be in your shoes. And
Exactly.
Daisy, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, our website, feel free to have a look at all of our PR and marketing services. Our website is www.drpr.ca, or I'm also available via email anytime. Love to network and connect with others. My email is daisy@drpr.ca, but of course, happy to share all the information as well. And I'm always happy to connect with others and just share knowledge, experience, and meet other people.
Amazing stuff. And Daisy, thank you again. I really appreciate your time today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Daisy, as she just said. Check out the website, drpr.ca. Drop her a message. I'm sure she would love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.